Hello there guys, so our new anime begins when our protagonist, IN, jumps down the cliff after being tired of the world and ending his life for being the weakest in this world. But let's get back to the past to understand his situation. IN was with two people named Zoid and Jolene, who were a magician and a swordsman. They got down to the dungeon to hunt down monsters for money obviously, and they took down a giant rat. And after taking it down, the after job comes to EIN, and the guy calls him trash picker. Because EIN comes from a low common category, EIN gets down to do his job as an appraiser. Appraisers are from the low common category and from birth. The goddess of light grants a job, while the goddess of darkness grants a skill. Training could level up the skill, but the job is stuck as is and could be passed down through generation. So the world was divided into three-part, rare classes as merchants and strategists. High common with combat jobs, and low common with appraiser and farm-related worker-class jobs. Ian lost his parents early, so he moved on because he couldn't run the family business and became an adventurer. But he had appraiser skill, and this rat had its tooth valuable. But Ian couldn't open its mouth on its own, so he asked Zoid for help, but he looks down on the guy and wants him to do his job and kicked him out because they were doing all fighting. Appraisers are always treated this way because back in the guild, they could use magic tools to appraise items. That's why EIN had to do anything Zoid asks, because Zoid hired EIN, as he doesn't want to do dirty job. So by dirtying his hands like this, EIN had to earn a living. And Zoid took every chance possible to look down and insult EIN as much as possible. And EIN had no other way but to endure all of it. But right up ahead they found a dead hellhound, and Zoid ordered EIN to pick out its item. But EIN found it strange finding a dead hound. But Zoid didn't listen and throws EIN to pick out its items. It was a B-rank monster, and there was another one in a different path. But that makes it all the more dangerous because the map guild provided has only one-way road here. So EIN warned Zoid about this. But the Zoid and his girl just doesn't care at all, and warned EIN to do as he says, or he won't get his share of money. EIN had no other option but to give in to his order because there wasn't even a single party who would take him in. So EIN had to give in to the pressure, and after second one, they found a whole horde of dead hounds. So Zoid and his girl were surely happy, but EIN knew just that those handiwork is not from an adventurer because they could have collected the items at least. And EIN's instincts came true as the real perpetrator came to light, and Zoid couldn't handle one, so how could he take on a whole horde of those beasts? So Zoid got a better idea. He told Jolene to cast a paralyzed spell on him, so he could use EIN and escape. Jolene did it without hesitation, and both backstabbing couple made a run for their lives, throwing EIN into hell. Then those monsters started to chow down on EIN, and the pain undid the paralysis spell. So EIN threw his bag forward, and the food in it worked as a distraction to run away. But the way back upwards was destroyed by those fucking couple. So EIN had to take another route, but even that was a dead end with a cliff. Now, backward is those monsters coming for him, and forward is the cliff. So death is inevitable, but eaten by monster or die by falling. Choice is in EIN's hand. EIN was full of regret that he was weak and had to kiss Zoid's shoes until now. And even then he's all alone, and this is how his life ends. So EIN took the step forward to die, falling down the cliff. And in his last moment, those all regrets came gushing out. However, EIN fell into a mysterious place where a girl approached him. And she took his head and kissed him, which woke him up for mere moments. But when he fully woke up, EIN saw he was under the world tree, and on top of it, he was alive. It was a huge tree, and suddenly the water came pouring down. And used a skill, and saw it's the droplet of the world tree that could cure all of the diseases. EIN was shocked to the core, because the world tree existed long ago, and the mana people use is by breathing it in from the atmosphere and converting it. And the world tree is the one releasing mana into air, but has withered away a long time ago. So the question arises, how is mana still in the atmosphere? Scholars of the world came to the conclusion that the world tree could be still out there somewhere. So a grand conquest began to find it, but it resulted in nothing. But now EIN had found it, and he was thankful to the tree for saving him. But he heard a voice of someone, but then dismissed it as an imagination. Then he sat down, and recalls that those two won't call for help, and there is no food here. So before starvation, thank the tree once again to go out and find a way out. But the girl failed to speak anything, and Diane knew the guild knows nothing about this way. So this is an uncharted territory. Yet Anne pulls himself together, because that was the only way out of here. But just a few steps ahead, a slash suddenly cuts off his ear, and in a super speed his fingers were cut too. The one who did it was the S-class monster, and it took its time to torture Ian for entertainment before killing him. But just as it was about to end Ian's life, it was terrified and got crushed by a death bear. That bear slashed Ian on his face, brutally blinding him. And in the end, that bear crushed his bones to eat it. But someone came to save Ian as per that mysterious girl's request. And once again, Ian found himself near the world tree, but fully healed. And this time, he finally saw that beautiful and mysterious elf girl. But our episode 1 ends right there, so stay tuned to watch another episode of this anime. For that, subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to receive the latest updates. Till then, take care.